Are you a YouTuber, streamer, podcaster, TikToker, or any other type of content creator? Do you do your creative work on the side but dream of making it some type of extra cash maybe even replacing your full-time job? Very many people pursue this goal, but very few people succeed. And it's not due to lack of talent or hard work or anything like that. It often comes down to lack of knowledge. Knowledge of the industry and knowledge of how to market yourself to both a community and to companies. I'm Andy. I'm experienced with industry insights, and I'm here to help creators close that knowledge gap and get sponsored. I've done multiple rounds of onboarding new influencer partners at my current role at AverMedia as a community manager. There are a lot of things that I've noticed that make some creators far more successful than others. That is to say, far more successful at working with brands than others. Today's video will discuss some extremely important factors when it comes to what companies look for when working with influencers to sponsor or partner with. These include fit, content quality, consistency, and community. Keep in mind that every company is different and every company has different standards and different factors that they look into. However, these are very broad, general factors that should apply in almost every situation when it comes to partnerships and sponsorships. Let's begin with fit. Oh my god, I had my headphones on, with my headphones on, you're not getting the nice little back glow of the blue light on the hair, making me look real fancy and stuff. Oh my god, what have I done? Back to the video. Fit. What does it mean to be a fit to a company? Just like all the other factors, fit can be very different depending on which company you want to work with. And the factors that a company might look into to consider you a fit will also vary company to company. I can't give you every possible area to consider, and I especially can't give you the exact areas I consider in my own role. But here are some major things for you to think about, some major questions for you to ask yourself. First, are you brand appropriate? For example, someone who makes content for an audience of all ages probably isn't aiming to work with a more adult or mature themed company. Whereas someone who makes content that's for older teens or adults or has a target audience of adults, not necessarily mature content, they're probably not necessarily going to be the best fit for a family-friendly brand like, let's say, Nintendo. Basically, is there anything that would put you wildly off-brand in comparison to the company? Would your audience be confused or weirdly surprised seeing this company's offering on your content? And vice versa, would this company's average buyer, target market, that type of thing, would these people also be confused about seeing you represent the brand that they identify with? Going back to the previous example, if you are an actual mature brand in your content, you're definitely not going to get to partner with Nintendo no matter how much you want it. However, you might be a great fit for a mature company like Adam and Eve, something like that. Similarly, if you are a travel vlogger, you might not be a great fit for a desktop streaming hardware brand or a furniture brand because you're always on the go and probably don't have a desk setup. But on the other hand, you might be a great fit for GoPro or travel accessories or a travel bag, luggage, things like that. Think about your message, your style, and your content and see if that's in alignment with the brands you want to work with. It doesn't need to be a 100% one-to-one alignment. You don't need to be the perfect candidate for this brand sponsorship program, but you need to find some way to connect. Okay, what does my content have to do with some aspect about the brand or some particular product? If you're a TikToker who only uses your phone and only makes content outside, you're probably not going to work with a gaming peripherals brand. You're probably not going to be a great fit for that. But you might be a great fit for a shoe brand like Vessi. And on the exact opposite end of the spectrum, if you are a gaming streamer, you might be a perfect fit for a gaming peripherals brand like AverMedia or Logitech or Razer or whatever, but you might not be a great fit for the outdoor brands that the TikToker might get. In this case, it is basically a match of values, subject matter, or some combination of these. People who get sponsored by, for example, a VPN, they tend to also have something about their values or their content that a feature of the VPN makes sense, like privacy or geolocation or whatever. And people who work with gaming hardware companies are almost always gamers themselves. So we've discussed you being a match for a company, but just as importantly, a company should be a good match for you. Lean in a little bit closer. Just as importantly, a company should be a good match for you. let's say you're getting an offer from a company and you don't connect with their products, services, values, or maybe you even feel negatively about something like that. Like, let's say a certain mobile game has reached out to you and you are just like, I have no interest in this. It's probably better for you to walk away and preserve your integrity, because the company might not be a good match for you no matter how much money they're offering you. If you feel negatively about a company, a product, or some aspect of their branding or values or whatever, maybe they're not a fit for you. Companies work with influencers and creators because those creators also give the company value. It's not just, oh, I'm getting sponsored, the company's giving me stuff, it's great. The company would not give you stuff if it wasn't valuable to them. Remember your worth, and if you don't connect with a company or you feel negatively about it, like, you don't need to feel like, oh my god, this company is a perfect fit that I connect with every time. But if you feel negatively about a company, that should be something that you should listen to at the very least. I recently spoke in a Twitter space run by a Twitch streamer named K.Degod. Somebody asked me if activism would be a turnoff for brands. And my honest answer was that, yeah, there are some brands that if you're an activist, they're not gonna want to work with you. But if that's the case, then you shouldn't want to work with those brands. They are not there for you. Like, do you want to represent that message? But on the flip side, if there are brands that do align with your message and what you have to say, isn't that much more valuable? And in the brand case, if your opinions are in alignment with the brand's goals, it sells. And this is not to try to turn capitalism or marketability into activism, but you shouldn't have to turn off your activism to be more attractive to brands. It's a filter for the brands that you should work with. You should say no to the brands that aren't there for you. And in the end, you'll probably have better deals working with brands that do align with you. Like, look at Colin Kaepernick and Nike. That ad campaign was one of Nike's best performing of all time. And it was all because of great alignment between values of Colin Kaepernick and values of brand. That is all to say, don't hide what you stand for in order to maybe work with more brands, because the brands that you'll have the best experience with will want you because of what you have to say, not in spite of it. If a company won't at least accept your message, you're better off looking at other avenues which you can open up by having great content quality. More than anything in the realm of making content, seeking sponsors, and being an online content creator, your content should be good. So many people start making content, don't know their identity, and don't frankly make good content and try to seek sponsors first. Their idea is, if I get sponsored, then I can make good content. But the opposite is true. If you make content, you're more likely to get sponsored. Earning more sponsorships through your content might give you more time, resources, and flexibility to spend on your content and make it better. But if you don't have good ideas, more time and more resources won't give you better ideas. Beyond that, so many creators are amazing at what they do. So much so that even their sponsored segments are worthwhile, entertaining content. Some great examples you can see are like back in the 2010s, Game Grumps did an amazing sponsorship segment with Crunchyroll. The ad was one of their best pieces of content. It was so funny.
Can I watch unlimited amounts of anime on my tablet, mobile device, computer, and Wii U?
That's a weirdly specific set of things, but let me check. Yep.
That's amazing!
I know!
It was still an ad. It was amazing, worthwhile content. And that ideology is followed by so many other creators, and they get such high quality sponsorship deals. So if you look at creators like Daniel Thrasher, he makes skits in his videos, but at the end of the skit, there is another skit, which is also a sponsored segment. It's basically integration of the brand into a skit. And those skits are typically just as funny as the non-branded ones.
After hours of hard work, I've finally done it. A 16-track album of beats that I made this morning. You will listen to it, and you will give me feedback immediately.
Break it down now.
Luckily, Daniel has Raycon's everyday earbuds with...
Your sponsored segments can just be ads, but this is also to say that focus on improving the quality of your content and potentially use that quality of content to improve the quality of your ads and what you can promise to sponsors. And on that note of promising good content for sponsors, you can have great content and no audience and still be a great fit for some sponsorship program. There are cases when many content creators who are very small but have firmly planted their identity and firmly developed their style and content quality get gigantic sponsor deals. One creator I follow named Big E When he was a much smaller creator, he developed his skills in storytelling, videography, editing, things like that. And using those, a company noticed and they asked him to make something for them, and they paid him a crap ton of money. And it wasn't because he had the biggest audience that they could advertise to. It was because they believed in what he could create. So essentially, they paid him to make something for the company, and they found him through his content platform. Your content is also a portfolio. Beyond that, your content doesn't need to just be videos. Like, do you take good photos? Are you a designer? Anything like that. Developing a public online portfolio is an equally good way to show off the quality of your content creation and get companies to work with you, even if it's not on a sponsorship basis, like maybe if it's a freelance basis. You never know if you don't try. So this is starting to deviate from the category of being a content creator and content. But the point is, if you have valuable skills, if you can implement those skills into your content, and you can have high quality content to promise to advertisers, it's gonna probably work out for you. You can get far more sponsorships and partnerships than you think, even if your numbers feel like they're low. But how do you get to the point where you have high quality content? That comes with consistency. Consistency can apply to having a regular schedule of making content and things like that, and keeping your online presence alive and all that jazz, all the stuff that you think of when content creators say, be consistent. But that's not the only thing. Consistency also refers to your professionalism. Professionalism is such a vague term, so here's just some real life scenarios that you can use as references. Will you consistently reply within a reasonable amount of time to brand representatives that you're working with? Will you consistently do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it? Do you give companies expectations for what you're going to do for them and then constantly meet or exceed those expectations? Consistency doesn't just refer to your upload or stream schedule or posting on Twitter or whatever, but it also goes about the way you do your work and the way you go about your communications. Companies will consistently prefer the small to medium creator who always gets stuff done than the large creator who's inconsistent with their deliverables, communications, and all of that. Of course, life happens, and don't push yourself to be consistent 100% of the time. If you burn out, then you're not consistent anymore, so don't burn yourself out by overworking yourself. But as much as you can, be consistent and just regularly show up to do what you set out to do. And being there regularly is one way to build this next factor: community. Like in the case of Big E, some sponsorships will pay you to make something for the company no matter what your follower count. But most sponsorships and partnerships are simply looking for advertising accents to your audience. And this does not just mean having the most followers. I'll discuss these things further in a separate video, but this can include things like engagement, demographics, things like that. Like, who are your community and what do they value? But moving forward, your community can determine a lot about the best projects for you in a brand sponsorship sense. Do you have under 5K followers, but you have an extremely engaged community and they all love talking tech? You might be a perfect brand partner for some type of tech company, especially with some type of product partnership with an affiliate link program to help drive sales. On the flip side, do you have around, like, let's say over 100K followers, and while you get consistently high views, you don't necessarily have as deep of a connection with your community as you would when you were at 5K followers? You might be a perfect fit for something like a brand awareness sponsorship. You basically are paid to promote something in your videos, but we'll discuss types of sponsorships and whatnot in a separate video. These are all just hypotheticals. But that is all to say, because advertising access to your community is such a monumentally important part of brand deals, any sponsorship, any partnership, it is so important for you to understand your community and how you can connect with them. What does your community value? Why does your community follow you? And what brand deals does your community show more interest in? Communicating your metrics and sharing your community will be a completely separate video. That's too much to discuss here. Let's do a quick recap. It is super important to be a fit for the brands you want to work for. Whether that's subject matter, the medium of your content, the values you project in that content, your target audience, or a myriad of other factors. And it is just as important for the brand to be a fit for you. Next, and honestly the most important thing, make good content and constantly develop the skills that allow you to make better content. Your content doesn't just need to be what you broadcast to your audience. It can also be photography or other things that could add value to a company's brand deal. Companies love user-generated content. Equally important, you need to have some level of consistency. And that doesn't just mean uploading videos or streaming on a regular basis. It also means communicating in a timely manner and doing what you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. Last, work to understand your community. Companies largely do deals with influencers to gain advertising access to their community. Whether your community is small but highly engaged over a niche topic or large and diverse, it is vital to understand your community, the metrics that represent your community, and how to communicate those to brands. So that's it for the content of this video, but a quick personal note, as this is my first video on this subject matter. It is my goal to empower creators to be better equipped to reach their goals. And I'm really happy to be at a place in my career where I'm actually able to contribute. And leave a comment if you have any questions, suggestions, or more. Bye!